On April 4th, 1968, in the heat of the Civil Rights Movement, Martin Luther King Jr. was shot and killed by a white man. Almost immediately, various cities were thrown into riots of panic, because to those across the nation still fighting for their freedom, Dr. King's assassination was world-shattering. He had so long been a prophet of an unrealized dream, a hope of a better tomorrow, and one who chose never to stop letting freedom ring from every word he spoke. But now, he was dead. That same night, Robert F. Kennedy was to deliver a campaign speech in an inner-city borough of Indianapolis to a largely black audience, most of whom had not heard the news of Dr. King. City officials urged him not to go to the difficult 17th and Broadway, saying they would not be able to protect him from a riot bound to happen once the news got out. Kennedy insisted on going anyway. He penned some thoughts on a napkin along the way and arrived to a cheering crowd, waving his signs and shouting his name. Kennedy, however, did not react to their emotion, but it set a somber tone as he stepped up onto the bed of a truck and faced the unassuming crowd.
Could you lower those signs, please? I have some very sad news for all of you, and that is that Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis. In this difficult day, in this difficult time for the United States, it's perhaps well to ask what kind of a nation we are and what direction we want to move in.
His audience needed Dr. King, but now he was gone, and Kennedy understood this. Even though he and others who already enjoyed the freedom King was fighting for would not be half as affected by it all, he chose to allow his audience pain to become his own pain as he spoke. That night and in the days to follow, 100 cities broke out in riots, killing 39 and injuring thousands. Indianapolis was not among that number, because Kennedy understood that it was his American duty to bring peace into the panic rather than ignoring it. Friends, like Senator Kennedy said those decades ago, in times of difficulty like these, we need to decide who we are as a nation and in what direction we want to move in. Like the death of Dr. King affected many, but not most, so this nation is being affected in different ways and people are having different reactions to it. To some, this virus and this situation is earth-shattering. Like think of a family who lost 4 of its members in New Jersey. And think about so many people who are being swept up into panic and worry that's sweeping our nation. A panic that's caused by a potential diagnosis of themselves or a loved one, or an impending financial crisis. And then there are those who are chalking it up to a seasonal flu, and they're mocking government officials and saying that this is not what we need to do, and they're asking the question, do we really need to stop the lives of the masses for the sake of the minority who are getting ill or at risk of this virus? Well, friends, I'm here to tell you today that that's the wrong question to ask. A question like that could have caused Kennedy to just ignore the pain of those some 250 people at 17th and Broadway because it was a discomfort to him to step into their pain. A question like that could have caused him to look down on the panic and the riot in disdain. But he asked a different question. And in the face of these two situations, disdain and panic, he saw a third way and he led the people in it. He chose to speak peace into the panic by seeing each person with compassion and thinking what he would need to hear in his moment of panic. As a nation, we are here. This is the state of the world right now. So posting constant complaints and disdain toward those who are panicking will only cause further division. Likewise, those who are being swept up into the panic and letting it rule them by buying maybe extra that they don't need and living in a constant world of what if, that will only cause more pain to those around us. Instead, may we decide who we are as a nation who sees each other with compassion and brings peace to the panic. Neighbor helping neighbor, healthy helping the sick, those with much helping those now finding themselves with little. like Kennedy, had a truck bed waiting for him on that night, April 4th, 1968, we also have a truck bed waiting for us. But the question is, are we going to decide to put our discomfort aside and step up onto it and speak peace into the panic? For some of us, it may look like a simple phone call to a neighbor. It may look like deleting the posts of complaints. It may look like writing a letter of encouragement to teachers or pastors or government officials or even the doctors on the front lines. Friends, our truck bed does not have to be some big platform, but it does need us to stand up on it and choose in compassion to see each other and speak peace into this panic. How will you choose to bring peace into the panic?